All right. Okay, it's 5 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead on and start off with prayer. Attention prayer, and we pray. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises are due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. The Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, thee alone do we beseech for help. O Allah, guide us on the right path, the path you bestow favors, not of those whom your wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray. Ameen. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, who came in the person of Master Father Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, and also in the name of his servants, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Exalted Christ, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Christ in our midst. I like to say, Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak.
Alaikum salam.
All right, we're going to get right down to business here. Part 14. Sister Haviva, if you would go ahead on and lift Ayat 2.
Yes, sir. Surah 15, Al-Hajj, the Rock, Ayat 2, a secret fictional law. Often will those who disbelieve wish that they were Muslims. Allahu Akbar.
Okay. I thought that this was a very interesting one here because it sort of looks at the maybe I know we've been talking about jealousy and envy. The envy of Muslims having this. See, sometimes people look at us and they recognize that we have taken some steps that they wish they had the courage to take. So, they look at us and they say, oh man, I saw Sister so-and-so, man, she was real fine and she had all of that pretty hair and all of this kind of stuff like that. And she done covered all of that stuff up. and they say, well, oh man, she, I wish in their minds, they thinking, I wish I had that wherewithal to be able to follow through with the thought, because maybe they had the thought themselves and then they was fine and had pretty hair, whatever it is, but they just didn't have what it takes to make that move. They didn't have the ability. So I think that thing that we talk about ability comes back in there too. If you have the believers, they disbelieve, they wish that they were Muslims, or they wish that they had the ability to affirm or confirm that they are Muslims. Many disbelieve because they feel they are not ready for the truth. Why should you have to believe in that which you should know? They don't want to be accountable sometimes. Sometimes they see that stuff and they just don't want to be accountable. I remember as a young minister, because see, I came into the ministry straight out the nightclub, straight out the music, in the music world. And so some of the first converts I was able to attract by Allah's grace were musicians. And man, they had a rumor out about me. They said, and I'm proud of it. I wear it as a badge of honor. They said, man, don't you mess around with Batim, boy. That boy have you selling bean pies and fish. and and so really they look at you. They see, that's the thing that we don't realize, that people, when you make a bold stand, you know, a sister goes somewhere with that headpiece, boy, that headpiece is just mesmerizing, you know. And it take, and to my sisters, man, it takes something in this world to be willing to step out with a headpiece on, something that is so contrary to the fashion, you know, of this world. Man, it takes something. And matter of fact, women in Islam, they just got my admiration anyway, you know. And some of the finest human beings that I know of are women in Islam, you know, because the woman generally, she is no nonsense, because she, you know, she's looking for that which will make her secure. So often those who disbelieve, part of the source of their disbelief. So when you say disbelief, you can look at that as someone whose attention is other than where the light is. See, what attracts you to belief is that obviously you see some light somewhere, you see some truth somewhere, and say somebody shine the truth on something, and then you are able to see that. So just like if you look, as if you're looking at a fence, and somebody points a light over to the fence, and then you see some smoke behind the fence, and then you begin to germinate the thought that, wow, I believe it's a fire over there, you see. And belief is, you know, when we start studying, you know, we start breaking down belief, man, it is just it's a wonderful thing, in that it is a high level thought, and it's almost to the point where you could almost call this a pregnant thought. Imagine that, a thought that is pregnant. And as the thought goes through its term, the end point, or the end result, the end phenomenon of the thought is a new birth. You see. All right. Sister Haviva, we're going to work you out this time. We're going to get you to go from ayat 6 through ayat 12.
Yes, sir. Ayat 6. And they said, O thou to whom the reminder is revealed, thou art indeed mad. Why bringest thou not the angels to us, if thou art of truth? We send not angels, but with truth, and then they would not be responded. Did I go too far? Oh, you said to, okay. Surely we have revealed the reminder, and surely we are its guardians. And certainly we sent messengers before thee among the sets of yore. And there never came a messenger to them, but they mocked him. Thus do we make it enter the hearts of the guilty. Allahu Akbar.
All right. And they say, to whom the reminder is revealed, thou art indeed mad. And so one thing you have right there in the reminder is the reminder helps you to refocus on the truth. He reminds you, as the Quran said, remind for reminding prophet the believer. So when you to remind, that means that you had something on your mind that is not on your mind anymore. So when the reminder, to do again, when the reminder comes, if certain people, their mind has shifted off of the prize and they're looking at something else. And so when the reminder comes back, they sometimes have become so comfortable in that which their minds are on at present. But Allah sends you the reminder to put you back on track. You say, why bringest thou not the angels to us if thou art of the truth? And so he says, we send not angels, but with truth. Then they would not be respited. And we talked about this a few sessions ago when we were talking briefly about angels, and one of the angles or one of the perspectives of angels. And as I was saying, whatever I present to you, you may not be familiar with it as such, but it certainly does not represent the full, as I know of, or I would not claim that it represents the full spectrum of perspectives when it comes to angels. And so angel, if you remember, we say angel, you have angels and then you have demons. And then the angels that I believe is speaking of here, angels are formed, angels are actually personality of a highly developed nature, a highly developed righteousness. You know, when righteousness, you know, you start off, you see, you do right because you're afraid of the consequences of doing wrong. Then the more you learn about righteousness, then you begin to do righteous things because it's right. So that's another gradient that you've stepped up in there. Then you grow into the point to where you love righteousness, or you see the mechanism, how the mechanism of righteousness actually contributes to your survival. And then as you grow into that understanding, then you get to the point where you actually love righteousness. And so it is these chains of knowledge, data, and attached facsimiles that create a personality. See, it creates, as your mind stores this chain of similar data and facsimiles, you begin to relate it to all of your experience, and it gets to the point where this unit or composite, or these composite facsimiles, manifest themselves as a person. And these person or personality, and this is where the the multiple personality thing comes in. And so actually, so in other words, we said that the angels are personalities developed by knowledge and facsimiles that have the emotional, the tone scale, the emotional tone scale positions of more or greater than 2.0. And the demons are the same thing. They are personalities formed by thoughts and knowledge with the attachment of the tone scale position that resides below 2.0. So he says, so we sin not angels, but with truth. So any personality that pops up, you know how something told me to do this, something told me to do that, you know, that's an angel. That's one manifestation of the angel. And depending on whether it's good, it's a good or a righteous thing or not. And I'm just trying to give you the basic, structure of angelic reality, really according to Mr. Hubbard, when we fuse it with the Quran, the Bible, so to speak. Because see, we know angels, we're not spooky, right? We don't think angels are flying around no more than we think that God is some spook or some mystery. See, we're trying to make sense. We're trying to give our minds something to wrap itself around, something that some type of what we call stable datum, and it is the stable datum that is the basis of ridding ourselves of confusion. So the angels are sent with truth because they are made of truth. That means that whatever computations that you make on a tone scale level of 2.0 or greater is truth. The higher the tone scale position, the more or the purer the truth. Am I making sense? Is this making sense? Okay. That's a hell of a thing, because a lot of times, man, the things that inspire you a lot of times it's an angel. Allah sent you an angel. He sent you this personality that actually he activated this personality even within yourself. And then sometimes you can experience that even when you interact with another person, that personality as a personality that comes up within this particular person that you can recognize, that comes to you and tells you or shares with you something that that is righteous, or something that is good, something that will help you to survive on a better level, or something that is good, something that will help you in your quest to live a better life. So he said, I send angels, I send them, but with truth. See? So I send you a personality that will shine light on you, that will give you the truth, or give you truth. But understand, as I was saying, that the angels, see, when we say angels, see, we have a tendency, part of our mental machinery, Brother Wadu, if you will, part of our mental machinery is that we like to, when we say angel, we want to assign one value to an angel, which is something that's absolutely good. It's absolutely angelic, you know what I'm saying? But there are actual gradients of angelic activity within us. And then see, sometimes the angel can come, as I say, in another person, and the other person don't even realize that he is an angel, but he begins to display the characteristics that you need to aid you. So it could be your mother. Your mother could manifest being an angel to you. You see, I remember the minister told me once. He said that God in baby's language is mama. You know, and it's all of this stuff is about translating reality. Go ahead, Brother Wadu.
Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Kareem.
I was a little lost there when you said that the characteristics of an angel and them having gradients, because I've always been told that angels cannot disobey Allah, and therefore I'm not comprehending how they can have any kind of gradient when they are made to be obedient.
Well, I mean, there are degrees, there would be degrees or gradients of obedience. You know, that's how I would see that. They would just have gradients of obedience, you know, and then that would be gradients it would be a gradient of angelic activity. And actually that's what I was really explaining right then, is that sometimes we think, you know, when you say angels can't disobey Allah. Well, I mean, that's true. But like I say, but then there are different gradients of disobedience. And then to the degree of disobedience, I guess that would give you the ability to determine the degree or the level of angelic presence, and that there are some higher angels and there are some lower angels, and that the practicality of Allah sending you an angel would be determined on, I guess, what your particular need is for that particular thing. And I guess really what I'm saying too is that it's not a set, not necessarily a set person. Now there are some, like it does say in the Bible, they said beware of how you entertain strangers, for you may be entertaining angels unaware. Well, this is a person that is on a certain level of angelic activity, and then you may be able to attach what you're saying, you know, maybe to that particular person. I'm just saying, what I'm saying is I'm just giving you the idea that the angel, there is a physical manifest, you know, I guess in that case there's a physical manifestation of a certain person coming, displaying those characteristics. And then, but there is the actual principle, there's the actual reality of an angel, which is basically a personality that is made up of the truth. It says that we sin not angels, but with truth. And so whatever, and I don't think that all angels would be would be equal, but all of them would be bringing you truth, and all of them would be bringing you or be controlled by the reality of a tone scale position above 2.0, or the angels within yourself. The personality of an angel within yourself is inspired by the tone scale level of 2.0 or greater. And then there's a gradient from 2.0 all the way up to 40. And actually, when you get to another level of the science, it goes all the way up to 400. Does that make any sense, brother? You still not see what I'm saying?
I get some of it, and because I'm still somewhat new to Mr. Hubbard's technology, then I guess that's where I'll have to kind of close the gap to make a clear understanding of it. But I'm following, I'm tracking with you.
Yeah, well, and then that goes back to what we were saying, what I've been saying too, is that see, it's so hard to, I mean, it's good for me, but it may not be good for you. That to try and distill all of these things, because what I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna get that in book one. You're really not gonna get that in any of the first maybe 2 or 3 years of books that Mr. Hubbard writings that he put out, his research. That comes from something, from a pool of knowledge that is a little bit higher, along with the understanding that I've gotten from the minister with about angels. So I think that is on my curriculum list, where we would have a certain course. I'm thinking about just maybe even just putting it all in writing a paper or a chapter in a book or something like that. And then for those who have not really studied, if you haven't studied exactly what I have studied on that, then there may be a gap there. But I see what you're saying, and I understand, and I think, as I was saying, that it just points to the need of really more of a training we need to have start from scratch, because see, really, I'm probably doing this the hardest way that it is to do it, and that is just try to explain it without any kind of mass, just verbally communicate this. And if you haven't studied exactly what I've studied, then naturally there's going to be some gap there in terms of the data that I'm drawing from. If I'm drawing from something and then you haven't seen that or not been exposed to that particular data, then that may create a problem. But it's a good thing, because it forces us all to stretch. It forces you to stretch. It forces me to stretch, and I guarantee you will get something out of this, even as we go. Sister Belinda?
Yes, you may get to these ayats today, but Allah was commanding the angels to submit to Adam, and Iblis didn't. So it kind of gives a picture of the degrees of angels.
The manifestation of angels.
From that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
How they don't always obey.
And so that's what gives me, like I said, from the L. Ron Hubbard scientific perspective of just what the nature of an angel is. You have an angel and then you have a demon, and actually an angel and a demon is the same basic thing, except the angel is promoting survival, and then the demon is contra survival. You know, one is the angel is pro survival and the demon is contra survival, but they all of it is consistent of a composite reality, you know, in the form of a personality. Because when you think about angels, you think about a person. You thinking about, you know what I mean? An angel come to me. You know what I mean? You're thinking about a person. And then when you think about a demon, you generally thinking about a person, you see. And it manifests itself in the way of a person. And then so this is part of the psychology even of the Bible and Quran, where in quote unquote psychology, they have this thing called schizophrenia, you know, multiple personalities. And these multiple personalities are developed by the nature of the mind organizing facsimiles and knowledge in categories. And so once you got a certain amount of knowledge of facsimiles in a certain category, then the mind continues to reform and refine the composition in terms of how it is perceived, and all the way to the point where a personality is created. Sister Aviva, go ahead. Sister Haviva, you're on mute, dear.
Oh, all that, huh?
And a bag of chips.
Okay.
Bean chips, barbecue bean chips.
Yeah, okay, so I'm trying to stay with you on this one. But you tell me if I'm picking it up to some degree what you're saying. Are you saying that the demon and the angel and the angel, are the demons and the angels the same? It's a demon an angel, but it's just that the demon is operating below 2.0, but it's still an angel, and that the angel is
it's a personality. And what identifies it is the direction, whether if it's pro survival, then it's what Brother Wadu was saying, then it's obedient. It's an obedient personality.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could categorize it or classify it in an angelic realm. Mm-hmm. If it's contra, against survival, then you could classify it as a demon. And there are gradients of pro survival and gradients of contra survival.
So, Brother Batim, can you still call it a messenger, or an angel a messenger, or no?
I don't see why not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can see, you know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to give you the basic the basic concepts as I see it and as I understand it. That I guess the messenger could be an angel. And I think that one of the things that they were saying that a story that the minister had told, and you all can certainly helped me with this about the prophet and some of his companions were sitting down, and then a man came in and started teaching them, and all of them, including the prophet. And then the man left, and then the prophet asked them. He said, "Well, who do you think that was?" And then they said that, and then he said the answer was that was Jibril. Does anybody else remember that?
I remember it.
And maybe can give me a little bit more clarity on that. So
I remember, but I can't give any more clarity. But in talking about, this is Sister Carol Asadi, I'm sorry.
yes, oh yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I remember, but I can give an updated story that the messenger told about because I read it recently in UFOs and the Nation of Islam. There was a man at his table. Mother Tanetta talked a lot about the guests at the table, and one of them was an angel. And the messenger said there were 7 like that in the United States of those angels and they had specialized duties or gifts or what have you. And one could cut a hole in, I'm probably telling this wrong and paraphrasing wrong, but he could cut a hole in the atmosphere. And this man looked like a normal person. And there were angels there at the 1974 Last Savior's Day.
That's what I was just thinking. That's right.
Yeah, I've heard those stories.
Right. So
and they were sitting there, and the messenger made reference to them that they were not there just to see how well we were dressed, but they were there, long white robes or suit and bow tie, but to see our character or something he made reference to. Thank you for letting me share.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. So I guess what I'm saying is that when you say angels, and if, like, for example, what you just said, Sister Carol, if you had one man that was sitting at the table that could cut the atmosphere, short circuit the atmosphere, then he was the embodiment of this this personality. Our angel is a personality. And I remember one time that the minister was saying, and this was back in the 80s, he was saying an angel is a highly developed man of wisdom. And I guess really what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to inspire us to do is that he said, we are so used to identifying, the whole thing to what in actuality is a gradient of the whole thing, you see, and that an angel can be manifest in you. You can be somebody's angel. I can be somebody's angel when somebody needs something that is in my mind, a certain personality that I have developed at a certain time. That personality may be needed at that particular time, and the circumstances may come that, just as we were saying about the revelation of Prophet Muhammad, when he got into certain situations, that's when the ayats or the surahs was revealed. So it could be that there are certain circumstances that key in certain composite personalities that may exist within you, or they may exist in somebody else, or some other person. So the only thing I'm saying is that it is a personality. It is a composite reality. And that, I guess when you start saying, and I guess I can understand a little bit more what Brother Wadu was asking now. He said that it could be that the angels, what he's saying, that are obedient, that, well, I guess they would, I could see them being obedient to the situation that would key them in, or that would activate them. Is that making sense? Go ahead, Brother Wadu. Go ahead, sir.
So I'm having some cognitions, and I'm thinking, is it possible that of
Yes. Go ahead.
possible, yes, sir, that angels are an embodiment of a particular attribute of Allah?
Yes.
99 of them, that the angels embody a particular attribute. And so that's my question, but that's what you're saying.
I think you have just contributed greatly to the conversation.
All praise to Allah.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir. That's exactly and I put it like that's exactly in the line of thinking that I am suggesting, that I have extricated from this whole thing of angels. That, angels can be everything from just a thought in your mind to being manifest in an actual person. You follow what I'm saying? So that's the gradient that I was speaking of, you see. All right. Sister Carol, go ahead, dear sister. You're on mute, Sister Carol. Okay, there you go.
Okay. According to UFOs and the Nation of Islam, Brother Ilya Rashad, the 1,500 pilots for the baby planes, they are all angels. They've been taken as little children and trained from childhood, and they are there just for the behest of the Savior, Master Farad Muhammad.
I can see, I can fit all that into what I'm thinking. Now I may not be the best articulator of it, but I can certainly fit all of that into my thinking of what an angel is. It's basically
we have had the vision of angels as little cherubim, little fat babies with wings. And see, that's the detriment of the wicked enemy, the same that painted Jesus as a Caucasian. And they paint these angels, so that's as far as we get in our minds with what an angel is. But when in that book, you read the Arabic for how they describe that cherubim, it's a Hebrew word that means like a circular disk-like object with speed. So in certain instances, in certain passages in the Bible, they're describing the 1,500 little pilots of the baby planes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I can understand what you're saying, the perspective that you're bringing through Brother Elias's book is that it's like, what did it say? That their whole thing is, in other words, they got one aim and one purpose. And so, so to me, that's the angel. The death angel has one purpose. But see, we are higher than the angels because we can have many purposes. See, and it goes back to what Brother Wadu was saying. What Brother Wadu was saying about them having to be obedient, and that's part of their identity, is to manifest the reality of their persons, of their personality. And so in other words, an angel is he's given to us as a pure individual. So he or she is not influenced by anything other than what this angel was created to be. So we create he's created, or we create them. See, we through our thoughts from the beginning, we created people, we created personalities, we created entities, if you will, that will eventually carry out very specific things that need to be carried out to ultimately carry out the will of Allah. So he don't need Allah don't need no Negroes flying no mothership. I mean, no scout ship. You know what I'm saying? Because you put a Negro in there, you tell him to go and bomb this side, and the Negro want to go and bomb somewhere else. You know what I mean? Or he want to stop somewhere and eat him a chicken sandwich or something. You know what I mean? And so these angels, I can see them even right now. See, I'm getting cognitions too as we talk about these things, that I can see that the angels, they are just specialized people. And they have a special intent, a special personality to carry out a specialized task. And if they are not obedient to their tasks, then they cannot be considered angels. And so the same thing is that you and I, we need things as we go about our daily activities, and in other circumstances, sometimes we run, like I said, we can key in an angel that is within us, or sometimes we can key in an angel that's outside of us. I mean, sometimes people, they you'll be sitting, you have a flat tire, and then your jack breaks and all this kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden somebody stops and give you the exact help that you need. That's an angel. Go ahead, Belinda.
Now, I looked at the clock. We can talk about it offline. It was what was in that book about the angels.
In what book?
I pulled up the book Sister Carol's referring to.
Okay, you have the book?
You have the book. It's an ebook. I can read that part.
Oh, okay. Okay. Won't you read it? Now,
Okay.
Yeah, it's in our Kindle book. It's in our Kindle thing. That's right. I forgot you got she's just a technoholic.
It says,
I bear witness. I bear witness.
praise be to Allah. According to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching, these scientists are what the scripture describes as angels. He exclaimed in regard to the piloting angels aboard the wheels, quote, "These are not spooks, they are men," end quote. Unlike common notions of angelic beings, Muhammad's representation of angels offer a more pragmatic concept of something that religion has mystified. Angels are not spirits or figments with wings emerging from their backs, as they have often been depicted. The angels are real people who have access to special wisdom, resources, and capabilities that are unbeknown to the present world. I'll stop there.
Right. And so now we get back to what we're saying here is that Mr. Hubbard, as the minister told us, he said that what Mr. Hubbard gives us allows us to go deeper, into Bible and Quran, and even what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or even the minister said. And so we are, because I know I had no notion of these things here before I started studying Scientology, and it just all came to me. Maybe it was an angel within myself, because the one that whispers into the hearts of men, with firm resolution, well, then that's a demon. Go ahead, Sister Carol.
Could we say that Mr. Hubbard is an angel?
That's an interesting question. Could be on a certain on a certain level. See, the thing is that now because he wants what I'm trying to impart to you and to myself is the big picture. See, once we get the big picture, then we are able, the big picture is a picture of wisdom. The picture of wisdom allows us to explain. See, that's what we use. Wisdom is what explains stuff. See? And so that is not far-fetched, Sister Carol, in my opinion. He is an angel of sorts. And then because especially the more I think about it now, even as we talk, he is an angel.
Because he dedicated his life.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
He dedicated his life to the study of knowing how to know. And did everything, and Allah allowed him to visit and travel the world to just get a knowledge of people. And I'm using my language, he deduced everything down to the human being wants survival. That's the number one common denominator. So I see him in that category of angels as what Sister Belinda just read and how I've understood it recently. And Mother Tanette is saying angels will be on corners to tell us where to go. And she said they could look like a janitor. It could be a common person.
Right. That's right.
There's no specific description for an angel. Is what the embodiment that we can't detect. And I guess that's why that saying entertain strangers, because you could be entertaining angels unaware. And sometimes the angels don't know that they're angels.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
You just said someone could come and help you if you have a road problem.
That's right. They don't know. Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
And-
Assalamu alaikum.
Well, and see the whole thing when you think about it, as we talk, and it's kind of blowing up in my head as we talk. What is the thing that we associate with angels? The angels. Go ahead.
You're doing them good.
That's really what it is. But I was gonna break down what I was gonna say is the definition of good, which is to aid. See, angels come to your aid. That's how they are depicted. You know, and Sister Carol, how the minister depicted L. Ron Hubbard in that first meeting. I don't know if he was in that meeting or not, in May of 2010. You know how he depicted L. Ron Hubbard? As an aid to the prophets. So he's like an angel. That is deep there. And so as I was saying, in my upcoming endeavors, I'm gonna make do some sketches and some drawings, or maybe even do some demos, or some clay, do some clay rendering to help to give us more mass. What about how you doing on that, Brother Wadu?
I'm doing real good.
All right. I like that. I like that tone of voice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everybody all right? Sister Jacqueline, you good? Sister Dorana, you good?
Yes, sir.
Sister Haviva?
Yes, sir. Much gooder. Much
I ain't
better.
I ain't talking about Sister Carol Lasati, because she just snatching angels out the air now.
I want Sister Belinda to call me when she gets to the 1942, when the Savior brings out the mother plane over Los Angeles. When you get to that part, and they're trying to shoot, the government's trying to shoot up in the air, and all of this artillery is on the ground, and he tells the news that that's a weather balloon up there. Sister Belinda, please call me when you get to that point.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I bought the thing the other day when I asked you about it, Sister Carol. I went on and bought the electronic edition, the Kindle edition.
Yes, sir.
And I have not had a chance to look at it, but man, this stuff is deep. And I think a lot of times, I know we're definitely not going to get to all of the ayats, but I think sometimes we are just guided to certain things to help our understanding, to just give us to ground us, in science. We're talking about science now. See, you ask the average person what an angel is, and it's like poof, you know what I mean? It's like a cloud. They ascend into the clouds.
Little baby with wings.
Yeah, right. It's a kid that we speak of them in baby language, and so all right, good God Almighty. And then we already at the hour. We're gonna do a few more. We're not gonna belabor too much today, on the weekend. So number 9, surely we have revealed the reminder. Surely we are its guardian. And one thing about the reminder is that we have to be reminded, because the vicissitudes of life and things that happen, they tend to shift our attention. So, you're looking over here and then something catches your attention and then you come back and that's what that's why we need a reminder, because there's certain things that we need to keep on our mind, and if we keep these things on our mind, then they have a therapeutic value with us and by Allah, those who are in our environment. So we here reveal the reminder, and the chief reminder now is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And so you look at these last lectures that he gave us between the Swan Song, the Criterion, and the Unraveling of a Nation. What he's simply doing us is reminding us of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad brought to us. He's reminding us, remind. See, and it's just like an auditing session. When the auditor says, go back to the beginning, go over it again, pick up whatever additional data you can contact. This is like reminding you the application of the mind of this particular thing. Do this again. And as you do it, every time you do it, your mind, you agitate it and you begin to loosen up the particles of grime and dirt, as in a washing machine. You put into motion a cleansing type of action. Brother Wadu, go ahead, dear brother.
In the final words of that particular ayat, where it said, and we are its guardian, I thought of how the reminder itself, whether it's the circumstances or all of the things that you pointed out that the minister is reminding us of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's message to us, it made me think of how the Holy Quran is a protection for the truth of the scriptures of the Bible, that the reminder
yes,
is being altered so that it becomes different. That we are its guardians was mentioned in that ayat, and that's how it strikes me, that it's protected to not be altered because it's of that high quality of value.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Allahu Akbar. And there never came a messenger to them, but they mocked him. Thus do we make it enter the hearts of the guilty. That's a twofold thing right there. It goes back to something that we were saying earlier. See, sometimes the disbelievers, it's not really that they disbelieve, and that gradient thing may be in effect there too, Brother Wadu. May be some demons working on these disbelievers, because sometimes they say that they don't believe. And then if you ever had somebody to come up to you and then tell you, well, now y'all ain't supposed to do this, are you? Y'all ain't supposed to do that. What are they telling you? They tell you that they really believe, that there is an inkling or a gradient of belief in them that makes them sensitive to whenever you deviate. See? So some of them, they feign, F-E-I-N, disbelief because they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to say that I believe so and so and so. So they will withdraw. I got a guy that's been a part of my music, I'll say my music institution for years, and he won't say assalamu alaikum. They won't say, you say assalamu alaikum. They, in other words, they feel like they scared to say wa alaikum salam, even though they know it sometimes better than we know. But they won't say it because once they start saying it, then they know that there's a certain amount of accountability that they're going to have to accept. See? And then so some people mock the messenger to escape accountability. They know what's going on. Our people are not dumb. Our people are not, I mean, they're a little dumb and they're a little stupid, but it's you understand, for the most part, they know what's going on. And they feign this disbelief and all that kind of stuff. They don't want you to know because they don't want you to hold them accountable for what they know. Because once it's revealed to you what they know, then they will be, so now you're in a position, you know what I'm saying, to hold them accountable. They want to stay in a position to hold you accountable, but they don't want you to hold them accountable. Your hand up, brother Wadu.
Yes, sir. Real quickly, I just wanted to bear witness to what you were saying, because when I've been in those confrontations, for lack of better words, with the lost found, it occurred to me that they'll embrace a 2,000-year-old Jesus because, as they say in the hip hop community, a modern day Jesus can't knock on your door and hold you to account for what you're supposed to do. But someone that was alive 2,000 years ago is off the scene. And the second thing I wanted to bear witness to of what you were just reading in terms of mocking the messenger, right now, literally while we're on this Zoom, I'm multitasking, and I'm doing a survey based on one of my academic programs, but they sent me this survey, and the questions on the survey are about the war in Ukraine, how Joe Biden is performing in his job and things of that sort, which is bearing witness to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the message of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in terms of what this Eastern European conflict is going to evolve into. So I mean, it's literally right in my face on my tablet here as we're on this call here. So I just wanted to bear witness.
All praise is due to Allah. All right. Anybody else got anything they like to say about that? Okay, well, let us go ahead on. Sister Haviva, if you would, you're gonna have a nice little run here. Let's go from ayat 16 all the way through 23.
Yes, sir. Ayah 16. And certainly we have made strongholds in the heaven, and we have made it fair seeming to the beholders. And we guard it against every accursed devil. But he who steals a hearing, so there follows him a visible flame. And the earth, we have spread it out and made in it firm mountains and caused to grow in it of every suitable thing. And we have made in means of subsistence for you and for him for whom you provide not. And there is not a thing but with us all the treasures of it. And we sent it not down, but in a known measure. And we sent the winds for fertilizing, then sent down water from the clouds. So we give it to you to drink, nor is it you who store it up. And surely it is we who give life and cause death, and we are the inheritors.
Okay.
Allah is only true. Allah Akbar.
All right. So we've made the strongholds in the heaven, and we have made it fair seeming to the beholders, and we guard against it every accursed Satan. And I guess when it made me think about when he talks about every accursed Satan. And I think, who was it? I'm thinking it might have been Sister Carol that was talking about on some Brother Rasul was saying something about he had made some kind of statement, and the minister said to him, "Get thee behind me, Satan." And it just made me think about the he called out Satan. He wasn't calling out Rasul. He was calling out that, I'm thinking a devil is a demon. A devil is a manifestation of a demon. And Satan is the ultimate manifestation of a demon, because Satan is one whose evil is not confined to self. So it's a hell of a thing. You're talking about contra survival, pro survival, contra survival, and good and evil. When we understand, when we break these definitions down of good and evil, then see, these definitions give us the bigger picture. And it really, what he's saying in these ayats to me, is just really pointing to the omnipresence of Allah. That Allah is everywhere. He said, it is not a thing but with us are the treasures of it. We got the treasures of everything. And we send it not down, but in a known measure. In other words, so we know what we're doing, man. Go ahead, Sister Carol.
Now, I understood that when I said that, we were talking about fear. So you were explaining how our fear, if we have fear within us, that's who the minister was talking to, because that fear had changed. How did you explain that today?
You got to pull that rabbit all the way out the head. I only got an ear. I can only see one ear.
Okay, he had fear. It revealed that because Brother Rasul was fearing him leaving.
Mm-hmm.
The fear within us can turn us into, I can't remember what you said, but I wanted to remember, and I'm glad you brought it back up, because I want.
Yes, ma'am. I maybe this will help. See, those main things, these main emotions, they especially below 1.5. And see, in this world, the emotional tone of minus of less than 2.0 is pretty much the order of the day. And so by us being exposed to these lower level emotions, these emotions shape, they take shape, you know, as sometimes a satanic personality.
That was it.
Right. And so I think, so when he says that, that's what he's saying. He's not condemning Rasul, but it's, see, what we are finding out in this this quest to know thyself. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about a more thorough knowledge of self. That's what we're doing. That's where we're at right now. That's what attracts us, is that we beginning to know ourselves more thoroughly. See? And we are able, this technology enables us to perform a more thorough examination of self. It allows us to perform a more in-depth analysis of self. And consequently, it allows us to effectuate a more accurate and penetrating remedy. So you examine, analyze, and correct, or what is a remedy? A remedy corrects. So the minister gives us the big picture, and that's what I have taken it ever since I have saw that with the study guides. But it doesn't just apply to the study guides. You can take it all the way back to the beginning of creation, as we are taught that Allah created the universe. He examined it, and the analysis that he made was that it was not perfect. So the remedy was that since he only says be, and it is, he willed this thing into perfection. So everything subsequent to that, this is the approach that we can take. Because see, once you examine and analyze, then you say, then you come up with the solution, and then you say, well, you know, this is the stone I'm throwing after the devil. So, since we know that we need, in order to survive, a more thorough knowledge of self, and like I said, so this technology gives us access to a more thorough, because you can get a little examination, brother, why, dude, and then, but sometimes when you go you got these little kind of minor physical, but then you got a major physical where you come in, you get EKG, you get all kind of, you get on the treadmill, you do, you know what I mean? It's almost an all-day thing. where they thoroughly check you out. And so this is the tech allows us to perform a more thorough examination, give a more thorough analysis, and give a more in-depth and accurate correction or remedy to that which we found in our analysis. So yeah, so he is an angel. Oh man, that was big, Sister Carol. Cause see, I'm like I said, as we talk, my ideas of these things that we talk about, Allah is expanding for me as He is expanding it for you. And that's why I know this is not really me a lot of times. It's not me. He's coming through me, and then He's coming through you. He come through me, then it touches you, and then it's something that you got in yourself that I don't have, and then you present it, and then everybody benefits. And that is the beauty of these group straight wire sessions. And so I am so grateful to be a part of this with you all. Okay, so let's go ahead on. This will probably be the last one that we read, but good God Almighty, it's a long one. So we'll just go ahead on and read it, and we'll get as far as we can get. Sister Haviva, go ahead on and start at section 3. Go from ayat 26, go all the way to ayat from 26 all the way to 48.
Yes, sir. I do this every morning, sir.
All right.
Surah 15, Al-Hijr of the Rock. Section 3, the devil's opposition to the righteous. I seek refuge in Allah against the accursed Satan within and without. Ayah 26. And surely we created man of sounding clay, of black mud fashioned into shape. And the jinn we created before of intensely hot fire. And when thy Lord said to the angels, I am going to create a mortal of sounding clay, of black mud fashioned into shape. So when I have made him complete and breathed into him of my spirit, fall down, making obeisance for him. So the angels made obeisance, all of them together. But Iblis did it not. He refused to be with those who made obeisance. He said, O Iblis, what is the reason that thou art not with those who make obeisance? He said, I am not going to make obeisance to a mortal whom thou hast created of sounding clay, of black mud, fashioned into shape. He said, then go forth, for surely thou art driven away, and surely on thee is a curse to the day of judgment. He said, my Lord, respite me till the time when they are raised. He said, surely thou art of the respited ones, to the period of the time made known. He said, my Lord, as thou hast judged me erring, I shall certainly make evil fair seeming to them on earth, and I shall cause them all to deviate, except thy servants from among them, the purified ones. Allahu Akbar.
Oh yeah, you ain't finished yet.
No, I went to look at my paper because I wrote down it and I wanted to see it. Except thy servants from among them, the purified ones. He said, This is a right way with me. As regard my servants, thou hast no authority over them except such of the deviators as follow thee. And surely hell is the promised place for them all. It has 7 gates, for each gate is an appointed portion of them. At 45. Surely those who keep their duty are in gardens and fountains. Enter them in peace, secure. And we shall root out whatever of rancor is in their breasts, as brethren on raised couches, face to face. Soul afflict them not therein, nor will they be ejected therefrom. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Yeah, that's a power pack one there. Talking about created man of sound and clay, black mud fashioned into shapes. And the jinn we created before of intensely hot fire. So the jinn, some people regard the jinn as a demon. And maybe that jinn is he's a gradient. Because I'm seeing a whole lot clearer today than I've ever seen it before. Because, like you say, when you look at the minister said that Satan is the worst. Because his evil is not confined to himself. You know, then you got devils, you got dumb devils. You know, and then so you got the jinn. We created before of intensely hot fire. And so based on what we're seeing here, the jinn is created from the fire of emotion. Everything that is below 2.0, between 0 and 2.0, is a certain gradient of fire. So when you get down to anger, 1.5, that's a fiery. That's a fiery emotion. And so, and it could mean that it's in that narrow band around anger. There's a certain type of fire that's in fear. That is, yeah, you got anger, a certain fire in anger. And you can really see the fire in anger. You can perceive the fire in anger. And maybe not so much in fear, but you can feel it there too. Go ahead, Sister Carol.
On my home program, Open Mic, I was one of the readers this morning, and I was on Moses in Search of Knowledge. And remember the wise man, Kadir, he killed the boy. He killed the little boy. And Moses said, surely you, paraphrasing, you would kill a child? And Kadir said he was the embodiment of evil. How'd that happen?
I'm trying
how
to.
does that happen?
No, you go ahead on it because I need to know exactly.
I just wondered how does that happen that a little baby can be born and Kadir knew that was the embodiment of evil within that child, that he would be a hindrance to that couple who were good people.
I can't say that I know how he knew. Obviously he was privy to some extra wisdom, because as we were describing him the other day, that he obviously, this man had a comprehensive knowledge. So there obviously was some factors in his perception that would not reveal, in that particular surah. So like I say, when you think about it, see, you get into this thing about the static, and about, once you get to a certain point, a certain relationship to the static, and you can let go of the mind, then you are not bound by space, time, or mass. And that's one reason why you got some people that can actually see into the future. So you have a person with comprehensive knowledge. See, this is why I love L. Ron Hubbard, because see, once he break that stuff down, he said the static you ain't got no place in time or space. See, and so it could be, that he was able to travel in time and to see. He had a comprehensive knowledge, so he's not bound by the same things that we are bound by. We're bound by space, time, matter, energy, space, and time.
Oh, okay. And
all right.
Static again, real quick. Static is
you, Carol Asadi. That's what you are. That's the essence of Allah.
Oh, okay.
That's the
Now
soul.
That's
That's the soul. It's the soul.
Okay.
It's the soul. The soul
Kadir.
minus and free of the mind.
Okay. So
the mind has got us in. The mind is facsimiles of matter, energy, space, and time.
Right.
So when you are able to function as a soul, or as Mr. Hubbard called a thetan, when you are able to operate as a thetan, then theoretically you're not bound to space or time. You can go anywhere you want to go. You can go back in time. You can go forward in time.
Oh, so comprehensive. I got another word now that I thought I had the meaning of. Comprehensive means a knowledge of everything.
Well, yeah, actually it is. It's comprehensive knowledge in my in the way that we defined it, was comprehensive knowledge is wisdom. It is the big picture. It is the knowledge that explains knowledge.
And Kadir knew that he had it, and he knew from the jump from the beginning, that Moses didn't have that.
Right.
And he knew Moses is responding from the MEST.
Right. Yeah. Because he got some static action too, because after all, he is Moses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he is Moses. But he still hadn't reached. I believe that was Moses in training.
Right. Exactly.
To go. Okay. I'm a back up now. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. Sister, brother, excuse me, brother Wadu. Go ahead, brother. We're gonna start trying to land this plane, but go ahead on and spread your wings. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You covered it there very well, but I was just wondering, could the wise man mentioned have been a scientist, in the sense that scientists, as you pointed out, are able to look forward in the span of time to write the history, and therefore, having been like myself, I was brought up around older people, and the older people could just spot someone and say, even though it was a child, I don't want you hanging around with this one or that one, because they go get you into trouble, or they just knew or had
That's
a
right.
feeling or a sense of individuals, even though they were children. And anyone can change, but still they could kind of see where they might end up based on certain dynamics at the present time.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of like a scientist.
Absolutely. It is absolutely a scientist. It's
Yes.
absolutely scientist. And I know my wife and I, we joke sometimes. We have seen people, you go somewhere sometime, and you look at somebody, you look at this little child, you look at them playing around, and boy, you look at them bad boys, say, "Oh yeah, he gonna do some time." you, see, you just see how they act. But that just goes to show that we are scientists. All of us are scientists, and we have varying degrees or varying gradients, if you will, of comprehensive knowledge.
And if I could add to it, it comes from the level or measure of our observation, because from certain fields of industry, you take a wider view or a narrow view. And when you look at things from a wider view, maybe it's not only how the child is acting, but you can see how the environment around the child, be it the parents, whether they're interceding or not, and just letting it go. You put all these factors together to be able to reach an idea of where things are headed based on that big picture of
Yes, sir.
things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, brother. And then so we're gonna go down here a little bit. We're gonna land this thing, but I want to just hit on some important points. Down to number 33, we was talking about Iblis. Iblis, the minister had said that Iblis was the birth of the reactive mind. So I have yet to really, I have sort of brushed over that a little bit, and I kind of see generally what he's saying, but I need to think a little bit more on that. But I wanted to point it out to you so that you may be able to shine your spotlight or put it under your microscope or telescope and see what you can get out of that. And then all of this thing, you definitely got this thing of, I'm not going to make obeisance to a mortal. And then you can really kind of take that back to Yaqub and his creation of the devil. But we know that the seed of the devil actually came right after the creation of the universe. So it's been the seed of Satan is going to be here It's been here for a minute. And so I guess Allah just allowed it to bloom to the point to where, manifest to the point to where he can cut the head off to get that head. The head is the first thing that develops of a human being in the womb. So he let that head develop. And Yaqub being the last stage of the development of the head of evil. And then Allah at this point, he would cut that head off, cut that poisonous part off. Is your hand still up, brother Wadu?
No, sir. I apologize.
Okay. That's fine. All right. So we're going to go down here. Then it says that and then he started talking about the characteristics of Iblis. And so we always look at these are characteristics that are actually within us. Let us not be afraid to acknowledge and confront the Iblis that is in us, because Iblis, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan said, that the devil has made us all up into himself. So when we read about the devil, we're reading actually about ourselves. Now, we may have developed a level of spiritual wherewithal that we are able to keep this devil in check sometimes or most of the time, but we ain't keeping him in check all the time. He gets through every once in a while. And so part of what we're trying to do now is to develop our defense system against this thing that have been implanted in us. He says that one of the problems that Iblis had with Allah, he said, thou hast judged me erring. So whenever somebody tries to correct you, or point out that you might be wrong, see that little thing that make you feel a certain kind of way, that's Iblis. That's that part of you that has to be mastered. And it can only be mastered by being confronted. And you say, I'm wrong. How you gonna say I'm wrong because I am better than you? See, how dare you say I'm wrong when I am better? You see, all right? And he says that I will make evil fast seeming to them. In other words, I will create the atmosphere where they will be engaging in deceptive intelligence, deceptive thought, service, facsimiles galore. He said, and I shall cause them all to deviate, except thy servants from among them, the purified ones. And so I would like to think that this is part of what we're trying to do. We're trying to purify ourselves or make ourselves ready to be purified, or to open up the channels where the purification juice can flow into us. All right. He says, as regards my servants, thou hast no authority over them except such of the deviators as follow thee, and surely hell is the promised place for them all. It says that surely those who keep their duties are in gardens and fountains. Enter them in peace, secure. So that's you're going to be way up on the tone scale there. And we should root out whatever of rancor or rancor is in their breath as brethren on raised couches with wisdom, face to face. Toil afflicts them not therein, nor will they be ejected therefrom. So that's a secure place in heaven for the righteous. And Sister, go ahead, Sister Carol. We're going to go ahead and get this plane landed here.
Okay, and I'm not going to hold you up, but Brother Lukman on one of the Sunday programs showed us how purified and clear are one and the same. So we're striving to be clear, and those are the ones that they won't be able to get.
Right.
When we get to that point of clear, we would be the purified ones. Thank you for letting me share.
Right. Well, that makes me think of something that the minister said, and you may want to go and listen to this. In it's on YouTube. It's called the Put On a New Man. And I was there in Chicago. It was done at the Rosemont in Chicago, and it was a real trip because you had them Scientologists. They was ready to join the ranks of the Nation of Islam. All these white folks, white boys, come to the meeting with bow ties on. And the minister was just kind of warning them, well, don't be too quick on that. And then he told them, he said, well, don't. He said that there's more to it even than what L. Ron Hubbard gave you. See? And so I say that, it's more to it than clear. It's more to purification than clear. See, clear is just the deletion of the reactive mind. But purified, see, because you got people that are clear, but see, the state of clear is a limited state that is limited to the data that you have that you're working with. And if you are working with data that's not pure, then you're not purified. So you can be clear and not purified. See, the state of Christ is the state of purification, which the state of Christ is the state of Islam. See, because you got clear people in the Church of Scientology, they ain't too kosher. Some of them are can be wicked because they're not rooted in really the motive of the resurrection of the dead. That is the will of Allah today, is the resurrection of the dead. The big picture is the resurrection of the dead. They can't really see that. See, so clear is a desirable state, but we should not get that confused with purified, because you can only be purified when you have the pure truth, and they don't have the pure truth. See, and so like I said, I'm not discouraging anybody to get clear, because I want to get clear myself. Because inshallah, by Allah, I got the truth. So being clear is going to help me out a whole hell of a lot more than it's helping them out. Because they clear, just like Reverend Alfredi said, that you go into Scientology, you can get clear, and then you can, then what that does, that enables you to become a better criminal. You get to the state of Christ, you ain't gonna be no criminal. You be killing criminals. So that is something, you know, that should be noted, you know, on that. So so we're gonna go ahead on. We're gonna land the ship. We're gonna land the ship today. It's 6:50. We almost a whole hour over, because we planned for a half an hour over. So we about 20 minutes over the maximum of what we planned to go over. And so I hope that you all have enjoyed. I mean, this has been one of the better days for me in terms of cognition. When we start talking about them angels, I got a better understanding of angels, even myself now, thanks to you. So thank you, everybody that participated. And then that's everybody. Sister Haviva, Sister Jacqueline, Sister Durana, Sister Carol, Brother Wadu, Sister Belinda. I see Sister Denise chimed in. So now we're gonna go ahead on and end it. May Allah bless each and every one of you with the light of understanding. We will be back, inshallah, tomorrow from 5 to about, we're gonna definitely end on time tomorrow, because we want to give you the opportunity to go to Brother Luke Munn's class. But just remember, you know, when you're getting that stuff from the Church of Scientology, go back and listen to Put on a New Man. He makes it very clear that there is something more than what Mr. Hubbard is giving us is wonderful. It'll help us. We need it. But there's something more to it than that. And that's what he told them people in the Church of Scientology. Because they had kind of I think they were getting it kind of twisted too. They didn't realize what you're getting into when you start talking about Islam. So may Allah bless us all with the light of understanding as we close out in prayer. Attention prayer. And we pray. O Allah, we seek refuge in thee from anxiety and grief. We seek thy refuge from lack of strength and laziness. We seek thy refuge from cowardice and niggardliness. And we seek thy refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. Suffice thou me with that which is lawful, turn away from me that which is prohibited, and by thy grace make me free of want of what is besides thee. We thank you, O Allah, for this opportunity to gather in your name and to recite and to seek understanding of your holy word of the Quran. These things we thank you in the name of and through the example of your servants, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Ameen. Go in peace. Inshallah, tomorrow, 5 o'clock, same time. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
Wa alaikum salam, sir.